Well, obviously, this one is going to hurt for a really, really long time. When you are in complete control of a football game and the script gets flipped in the second half, and it was a lot of self-inflicted things. And give credit to them. We knew they were a team that could come back and fight. They proved it all season long, and we had opportunities to kind of put them away, and we didn't get it done.
Matt, what do you think happened?
A lot of bad things happened. I think a pivotal part was offensively. We come out in the second half and just could not get anything going. And you go 3-and-out, 3-and-out. I think we got a first down on the third drive, but it was just too many opportunities when you have the ball and you're not scoring.
Was that an offensive line issue, you think, early in the second half?
I think it was all of the above. There were certainly some things we did up front where they started bringing pressure and we weren't sliding out to it, weren't picking it up. Give them credit. And it's unfortunate because, we were doing so great in the first half, and then the second half was a different story.
Matt, you said you had some self-inflicted wounds in this game, but how much did Caleb Williams? What impact did he have, do you think, in kind of turning that game around? How much did he kind of will the Bears' offense?
Yeah, he's a great player, and he's proven it time and time again, and you just can't give him that many opportunities, and that's collectively, that's offensively, that's on special teams, and then certainly on defense. You got to find a way to put them away.
Hey, Matt, you got a year left on your contract, and policy has said he doesn't like lame duck seasons. Do you expect to be back next season? Have you guys already started negotiating that deal? Or?
Yeah, with all due respect to your question, Pete, now's not the time for that. I'm just hurting for these guys. I can only think about just what just happened, and there will be time for that.
Coach, how do you think Jordan played?
I thought he played his ass off. I really did. I thought he was out there competing. We obviously didn't do enough around him, and there were a couple situations where, whether it's a bad play call or bad protection, but I can't say enough great things about Jordan Love.
What do you attribute the problems in the kicking game tonight with the two missed field goals and the missed extra point?
Until I go back and look at it and talk to him, one of those kicks was a long kick at the end of the half. Obviously, the conditions are windy, but the difference was they made theirs and we did not.
Matt, you had a delay of game coming out of a timeout. How does that happen?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's inexcusable.
Matt, a month ago you guys were here, and obviously the game goes sideways after 2-minute warning into overtime, and then this game, big lead in the second half. Is there any thread that you look at that there's a commonality? There was the Bears adjusting at halftime that you had maybe weren't able to adjust back. Is there anything that you can point to for those?
Well, I think that's our job to find those answers. Like I said, I think there was some uncharacteristic things, and we got bailed out at times too, where we displayed poor ball security a couple times, put the ball on the carpet, and it didn't kill us in a couple of those situations, but all in all, it was lack of execution from everybody.
Did you change how you called plays at all with such a big lead at half?
No. What they did was they brought more pressure, and so we started to go to more of our drop back protections because they were firing corner blitzes and safety blitzes, and unfortunately there were multiple occasions where we should have been picked up and weren't.
Matt, you've won a lot of games here, and I know you always say the quarterback gets too much blame, and I'm sure it's the same for you as a coach too, but after the way the season finished and a couple other playoff shortcomings, why do you think we should be back here next year?
Again, Pete, I'm not gonna get into that right now.
Do you think your team has the confidence that the leadership of this organization can get them where they want to go?
Yeah, again, with all due respect, Pete, definitely now's not the time. Whatever, Bill.
when a couple times this year,
Sorry, Bill.
a couple times this year, the script has flipped. What does it take to stop that when everything's going against you? What does it take to turn things back around?
You know, we just got to do a better job of keeping our composure as a football team and going out there and doing the fundamental things that we practice all the time. And I think when you get in these types of big games, when you don't execute simple fundamentals, it comes back to bite you, and that's exactly what happened.
You and Goody have both said, like, we're not young anymore, we're experienced in the playoffs. So why is there that lack of composure in these big moments, do you think?
That's a great question. And again, got to go back. We got to look at it. We got to talk. You know, there's a lot of pieces. All you're trying to do in the moment is when mistakes are made, you're correcting them. There's not long discussions on the sideline. It's just you correct the mistakes and you try to keep it moving. And I felt like just our team got a little bit disheveled in the second half.
I think it was a fourth down play where Caleb got out to his left and kind of made a pretty wild throw. What did you see happen there?
Yeah, he's a guy that's tough to contain. The whole plan was to try to especially eliminate his ability to go right. That's what he likes to do, but certainly, I mean, he made a heck of a play, heck of a throw.
Matt, do you think that there's an immaturity when you're not inexperienced, but they're all still young, that they either don't know how to handle success or struggle to answer when there's a ton of adversity getting thrown at them? Because it has happened quite a bit in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, those are all great questions, and certainly that's my job to find the answers to those.
Coach, what does it mean to you to be the head coach of the Green Bay Packers?
It means everything to me. I mean, this is the greatest organization in the world, in my opinion, and it's very humbling. And I'm certainly disappointed right now. I'm disappointed mostly for, well, not mostly, I'm disappointed for everybody that's associated with the Green Bay Packers. I'm disappointed for our locker room. I'm disappointed for our fans. I'm disappointed for our leadership, just all our employees, everybody involved with the Green Bay Packers right now.
Two more, please. What was the thinking to call the timeout with, I think, 44 seconds left?
Well, we were trying to pick up the first down, so we popped the timeout right there. You know, hindsight's 20/20. We wanted to get a good play that we thought could pick up a chunk, and we did. But unfortunately, we had an injury that burned some time, and obviously, the timeout that really hurt us was when we make a substitution error and we have too many defensive players on the field. Like, that stuff cannot happen.
No, I know it's a tough question because you haven't seen the film. The game just ended. You know, from the second half on to the end of the game, is there anything that you can immediately identify as, I wish I would have done this differently, just from your perspective, you know, either a different play call in a certain...
Yeah, there's always different play calls. I think anytime a play doesn't work, you're just like, you're kicking yourself. Oh, I wish I would have called something different. And there's plenty of reasons why they don't work at times, whether it's, you know, just an execution error, or potentially there are some times when the other team gets you, and that's just football. And I think that happens, you know, in every game. But you got to find ways to overcome it, and we just did not do that tonight.
What was the last play designed to be, and is that a function of a different center that Jordan drops the snap? I mean, just went haywire.
I didn't even see what was going on in the pocket. I was looking downfield. Obviously, we're trying to get everybody into the end zone. They were soft to our right side, their left side. I think he was going to spit the ball out to Rome to get like 5-7 yards to get a little bit closer, because there was, I want to say, 7 seconds on the clock. And when he dropped the ball, like, then it becomes the last play of the game, and it just, from there on out, it's just chaos, right?
What's it going to take to get over the hump? organizationally?
It's going to take a lot of work, because we're not where we want to be. And I know we've fought through a lot of adversity this year. Unfortunately, you know, we didn't do enough to overcome that adversity, and that's all of us collectively. We got to do more. We got to be better, because it's never an excuse. I know we lost some key players, but you got to find a way to overcome that, because I think we do have a lot of talent on our team, and it's disappointing.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Jordan, what happened offensively in the second half? You guys looked like you came out humming, and then it just sort of came to a halt.
Yeah, I mean, second half, you just look back on it, and we just couldn't get anything going. Came out, a couple 3-and-outs to start, and it was really disappointing. I think after the first half we played, being able to drive the ball down and score, it seemed like every time. I just got to go back and look at it, but yeah, I mean, it's just lack of execution and finding ways to make plays that really just hurt us.
Do you think you had trouble sorting out their pressures in the second half?
Yeah, I think we didn't do as good of a job, picking that stuff up, and it kind of hurt us, not being able to, pick those up and make those big plays down the field. So, yeah, it's something that, like I mentioned before, we'll look at, but it definitely hurt us.
On the play with 7 seconds left, when the snap gets dropped, are you trying, and Matt had mentioned that you might have been trying to go to some outside play there and pick up 8-10 yards. Was that the plan on that play, just to pick up a quick 8-10 if they gave you the coverage you wanted, or was that play always going to be a shot play into the end zone?
No, we had a play called, to be able to take a shot to the end zone, and then, depending on the coverage they're playing, how soft they were, try and pick up a easy couple yards to the sideline. So that's what we went to. And, yeah, when I fumbled the snap and, couldn't get that, it kind of turned into last-second Hail Mary.
Matt just said that the team as a whole needs to do a better job staying composed, and he said you guys were disheveled. We've heard a lot. You guys are still young, but you have that playoff experience. Why do you think that this team doesn't have that composure in some of these big moments still?
Yeah, I don't think we don't have the composure. I think it's just a situation we put ourselves in, jumping out to a lead and doing what we wanted in the first half, and then second half kind of a completely different story. So, I think for any team that's going to be frustrating, and you got to find ways to be able to, overcome that and, get back to it. And I think we did, but it was just a little too late. But I think it's just part of the situation we put ourselves in.
Jordan, we always say the quarterback gets too much credit, too much blame. When you do what you did tonight, you did a lot of really, really good things. And yet the snap is probably killing you. How do you walk out of here tonight feeling personally and as a team?
Oh man, it's tough and very disappointing. I think everybody in that locker room feels the same way. We had a game where we couldn't finish it and let a team come back and beat us. So it's very disappointing to end the season on a note like that. So yeah, everybody's very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. That's it.
Jordan, when a season ends the way it has with the losses and then tonight, a lot of times changes happen. I don't know what they'll be, but are you ready for what might come next? I mean, these kinds of losses, a lot of times they have really far-reaching ramifications.
Yeah, I'm not gonna jump to any conclusions or anything, but we'll see what happens going forward, and I mean that's the case for every end of the season and going into the off season. That's always the case. So we'll see what if anything comes forward, if anything. So we'll see.
Jordan, do you think Matt should remain the coach of this team, and why do you think that is so?
Yeah, I definitely think Matt should be the head coach. I got a lot of love for Matt. I think he does a great job, and that's it.
What does this team need then, Jordan, to take the next step?
Got to win games like this. You got to take advantage of games. You jump out to a 21-3 lead. You got to find ways to finish that and be better all around and just finish.
So how do you accomplish that? Do you need some better players, better play calls? I mean, how do you? It's easy to say go up there and win, but how do you get that accomplished?
Yeah, you get back to work. It all comes down to execution.
You guys obviously played the Bears twice this year. Both games came right down to the wire. You and Matt both talked about in the second half of this game they brought more pressure. That changed some things. Would you, having seen them already twice, were you guys caught off guard by any of that? Any of the different pressures you hadn't gotten from them to this point? I mean, was there anything that was unexpected in the third and fourth quarters from your perspective that hurt you guys offensively?
No, I don't think anything unexpected. I think they did a good job, obviously, kind of adjusting the scheme that they had first half. And, we didn't do a good enough job at, picking up their adjustments that they made and finding ways to take advantage of that the way we did in the first half. And that's every game you come into. You do good things in the first half, and team's going to make adjustments. And, we didn't do a good enough job overcoming that stuff. And I think we just hurt ourselves too many times.
Jordan, it's obviously a really tough situation in the locker room. What do you say as a leader? What do the other people say who are leaders of the team to try and help you guys think forward and all the good things you guys did do today?
Man, not much is said right now. Everybody knows what the situation is. It's disappointing. We let one get away from us. So not much is said. We'll get back to it and go from there. Attack the off season. The same message that comes with any off season is trying to find ways to get better and get back to work. But it's very disappointing right now.
What happened on the delay of game coming out of the timeout? 3rd and 10, I think, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even really process it right now. But I just think we didn't. I can't even process it right now. Obviously, we just had miscommunication and weren't able to get the playoff. Yeah.
What's your overall take on this season? Was it a good season?
I think we did some good stuff. I think there's highs and lows this season. We played well, and then we played not very well. We dropped a couple games that I think we had, and I think obviously ending the season the way we did is just disappointing. I think you look back on it, I think we did some good stuff in the NFC North and improved, and that was something that we was a goal for ours coming into the season after what we did the year before. But I still think there's more room. I think we could have done a lot better. I think we had a chance to win the division, and we let it go. And I think there's obviously there's some other games that were disappointing, but just highs and lows. Not consistent enough, and I think we just got to find ways to get back after it and improve. And I think it starts with trying to win the NFC North. We got to do that.
It's obviously still fresh, but trying to look forward, what does the offseason look like for you? What are maybe some of the biggest things that you want to accomplish in the offseason?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. It's too early. We'll see. Obviously, just get back to work training. Break down the film of tonight, of the whole season as a whole, and I think as every offseason is trying to see what we did well, see what we didn't do as well, and find ways to just keep getting better. But yeah.
What did you think of Matthew Golden's night?
I think he did some really good things. I think his touchdown catch was, one of the more impressive plays of the season. And so, I think he had a good night. He made plays when the ball came his way, and that's all he can do. So we'll find ways to keep getting him going.
Two more. Aaron used to say about NFC Championship games, we got to get one at home. You're 3 years in, you still haven't played a home playoff game as the starter. You guys have to be better during the regular season, so you're not in this number 7 seed, go on the road all the time mode.
Yeah, I think if you go out and win the division, you won't, be in that situation. You'll have some home games. So, yeah, it's an area we got to improve on as well. We got to be better throughout the season. We gotta find ways to win, the close games and just, not drop any games on the season. But it all comes down to beating everybody in the NFC North,
Jordan, where do you need to be better next year? You think?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of areas. I think just being more consistent as a passer, keep understanding every situation I'm put in, and how to be the best quarterback I can be for the team. But yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff I'll look at to keep improving on. But I think it always just comes down to being as consistent as possible.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Thank you.